and welcome to the show. My name is Alex and this is TechFlow. I am super excited because in front of me we've got the brand new product from ROG, the ROG Ally, not really sure how you say it. Correct me in the comments. Wow, it's a lot bigger than I first thought actually. Ooh, okay. It's really quite light. Okay, so a little look for you guys on the back there. As you can see, I'm loving this ventilation with the ROG logo there. We've got some bumpers here. There's not a lot of travel with these two back bumpers here, but then these two have a nice squeeze, and obviously these are gonna be, let's say you're in a first-person shooter, you aim and you shoot, and then these ones, the bumpers are very similar to these ones on the back. Headphone jack, micro SD card slot for expansion, and then it looks like we've got a proprietary right next to a USB-C connector there, volume rocker, power LED, power button on the top, and some ventilation. So we're in Windows. This is basically a handheld Windows experience. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see what the display settings are saying. So we're in 1080p there, we can drop it down to 720 if we like. However, let's go into advanced display settings, and as you can see, we are running there at 120 Hz, and we also have the option of 60. There seems to be, if you click this little button on the left-hand side, this command center where you can change its operating mode into turbo. You've got a brightness slider here. It has an FPS limiter in here. You can change the refresh rate, the resolution. I've got it connected to Wi-Fi, so let's test out that Wi-Fi 6E. It's definitely Wi-Fi 6E. Yeah, it's just maxing out my internet. I mean, that's impressive. Games will download in seconds. Okay, so I've been messing around with this for the short time of about 2 hours, and in that time I've had to connect over Bluetooth a mouse and a keyboard because I've had to install all of my games, and it's a little bit of a faff whilst installing things to be using the on-screen touch keyboard. And obviously with the screen being the size that it is kind of difficult to navigate around Windows with your finger. Yes, you can obviously use the joypad to use the mouse, but to navigate around, you're gonna be using your finger. Now this is where this device is gonna come in. This is the ROG charger dock. So this connects via USB-C to the device and gives you a single USB-A port and an HDMI port. So we can put the console off to one side for a second, and the keyboard and mouse are connected over Bluetooth. Okay, 60 Hz at 4K on this display. So what I've tried to do basically is have a separate desktop on here than the screen on here. So basically we've got two screens. You're allowed to have, this is a 4K screen, but you can't game on it. If you want to game on it and have it output via the HDMI dock, you need to duplicate the screen. So what is on here is on here. And then obviously your bottleneck is gonna be 1080p because both the screens are the same. I mean, this is nuts. The fact that all this is playing off this, and it's really quiet. I mean, I can hear the fan, but it's really, really quiet. 98 frames a second. I mean, this is like, I'm playing on my main computer upstairs. I put the settings on something that looks slightly nicer, like visually to the eye, and as you can see, I'm still pulling a solid 100 frames a second. I could improve the quality even more here, but this is blowing my mind. It's playing off this thing. It just goes to show how efficient, and I think that's the main thing here, how efficient all of this technology is getting. The fact that it's only pulling 60 watts from its battery or from the wall. I mean, this just feels comical to me, man. I just never ever would have thought I would be able to do this. Wow. I mean, this is a really, really smooth experience. It's silent, can't really hear the fans, and we're pulling a solid, well, 90 frames a second there, that says. And here's the thing, because the screen is so small and it's at 1080p, the quality looks almost like it's in 4K because the DPI is so crisp. But once you've sat here for 10 minutes with it, I'm now completely immersed in this game of Apex Legends. And I'm not thinking about where the buttons are that I need to press. Obviously coming from a keyboard and mouse player, it feels great. Obviously, it doesn't have the thickness that a normal controller has, which is probably what I'm missing here. But all the buttons feel great, and they're all in the right positions, and I'm not having any misclicks, which I thought I would, judging on the form factor. It just seems a little bit thin. You're probably going to be looking at, on battery power, playing AAA titles about 40 minutes to an hour, maybe slightly longer here. I had the brightness on full and the performance in its max mode, not in its battery saving. So far, so good with this thing. Obviously just my first impressions to show you guys what this thing can do, hopefully push its limits and show you what you could expect FPS-wise from this thing. You've got to remember it's got a full-fledged Windows sort of system on here, operating system. So if you did just want to sit back and do some work, maybe Excel, PowerPoint, or just some web browsing, hook it up to a screen, you can do that as well. Obviously, ROG is saying this has got double the performance of the Steam Deck. Don't have one to test, but you guys are going to have to stay tuned for the full review because I've got another 2 weeks with this thing and I'm going to be testing it every day. But for now, guys, my name's been Alex. This has been ROG and the future of gaming, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.